Oh man, Citizens of Earth. This is probably my favorite eShop title out there, tied with The Cave. Please note I have not played Shovel Knight yet, but whatever, this game is still awesome. It's probably my favorite RPG out there that doesn't involve Mario. This game is typically seen as a spiritual successor to the Mother series, and while I've never played any game in the series, I will say that this game, from what I've seen of the Mother games, does look pretty similar. But whatever, this game is still amazing on its own. So where do we start? I don't know, how about the combat? After all, it is an RPG. The game uses both a fairly simple and pretty complex battle system at the same time. What I mean by that is, to charge up for attacks, you basically have two types. One that'll give you energy orbs when you attack, and the other that'll make you lose energy orbs when you attack. Energy orbs are essentially your ammunition in this game. You use them to pull off more powerful attacks towards the enemies, which is a pretty simple way of getting them, but the way you attack is actually pretty complex. You see, the thing is, you do select the attack, but each citizen, as you level them up, they gain a slew of attacks that all do different things, and you can piece together some pretty good strategies with them. That brings me to sort of the highlight of the game, the citizens that you can unlock. Basically, you can go around doing different quests for them, and once you finish like a certain quest for them, then you unlock them. You can use them in battle, and they all have pretty unique abilities, and they all each have an on-the-field ability, whether it be selling you stuff. Granted, some of these abilities you can access, actually most of them you can access without even recruiting the person, but some of them you need to level up. But with all that said, not all the quests are created equal. There are some bland ones that are just collecting a few things, but then there are the unique ones. Here's a big example of this. Sure, there are some really fun ones. For example, the psychologist has you going through a pretty creative and actually really moving dream sequence, or the car salesman who has a hilarious and incredibly fun drag racing sequence in order to unlock him. But then there are some bad ones, particularly the soda bartender. Let's just say the minigame unlocking him is one of the worst and most frustrating minigames I have ever played in any video game. Now, here's another thing to bring up with this game, the humor. Is it Psychonauts levels of funny? No, I wouldn't say that, but the reason I don't say that is because the humor in this game can be kind of far between. Like, there will be long segments between the really funny points, because they mostly happen at story-driven areas of the game. But let me tell you, this game is hilarious. It is great satire of both politics and RPGs. One thing I gotta mention, though, is the main character in this game, the Vice President. God, I like this guy. He is incredibly funny. He's an idiot, like, to the point where he thought that at the very beginning of the game there's a protest against him, and he thought it was a parade in his honor. But the thing is, he's a well-meaning idiot. He's kind of an innocent character in a way, and he has a huge love for politics, which can actually be pretty funny at points. Also, at one point, he also thought that his policies being referred to as shady was a good thing because people like the shade. But despite being an idiot, he actually is a very well-meaning idiot. When he notices all the weird stuff that starts going around town, he says that he's not going to rest until he fixes it. And seeing as you're with him the entire game, that's not exactly something he can lie about. Honestly, if this guy were real, I would vote for him in the 2016 election. That actually reminds me, I haven't mentioned the story of this game yet, probably because it's not really that important. Basically, you're voted the vice president of the entire world, and a bunch of weird stuff happens, and you go in to investigate it. Also, the president's kind of a jerk, and yeah, you recruit a bunch of people. That's really it. The story in this game isn't all that important, it's really just a bunch of weird stuff happening, at least as far as I know. But the characters, particularly the VP, are really likable. One thing I gotta say though is that this game is long. I've been playing for a while, got like already 10 hours or so on my profile, and still I'm only on like chapter 3. One thing I will kind of warn against is that sometimes this game isn't always clear with what you have to do next. Also, if you're a fan of Earthbound, I think you should really check out this game. It definitely has a lot of similarities to it, and I think it's probably the closest you're ever going to get to a Mother 4. However, there are a couple downsides to this game. Like I mentioned earlier, some of the challenges for certain citizens can be frustrating, and the humor, while amazing, doesn't show up as much as I feel it should. But by far the biggest problem with this game, at least on the version I played, was the glitches. I've had the game crash many times. Luckily, the game autosaves. If you're interested in this game, it really shouldn't be too hard. It's available on the eShops for the 3DS, Wii U, PlayStation 4, PS Vita, and Steam. So yeah, pretty much every current gaming system other than the Xbox One. Really, I would definitely recommend this game, especially if you're a big fan of RPGs. Trust me, it is a great game.